told you already, 100 of those would be contested. And I know there are many of you who are concerned about all the constituencies that have been termed as battlegrounds. The fact that if you come into the Greater Accra region, you're looking at Dom Kwabinya, you're looking at the Adentan constituency, you're looking at Okaikwe South, as well as some other constituencies. And then in the Ashanti region, of course, the focus is on Bantama, is on Adansiasoka. In the Eastern region, we'll be focusing on the new Drabing South constituency. And one other constituency that will be keenly contested is the Achim Odan constituency. You could actually call it Akim Odan constituency. And then, if you're to get to the Upper West region, of course, the Laura constituency will be keenly contested. You can trust us here on your election headquarters to let you understand everything you need to know as the governing NPP goes to the polls to elect parliamentary candidates for the 2020 election. So tonight, my focus is on two constituencies. We'll go to the Akim Odan constituency. We'll be speaking to one of the contestants in that particular election. The incumbent member of parliament is William Kwetu, who's being challenged by three others. We'll get into that particular conversation later. We're also expecting the aviation minister and member of parliament for Navrongo Central, Joseph Kofiada, to also join us so we can have a conversation. We'll be finding out from our guest later on the show what their vision is, what their visions are for their constituents. What is it that they want people to look at and vote for them? You can definitely join us on Twitter as well. The handle is JoyNews on TV, or you can tweet me directly, Winston_Amwa. Let's have this conversation. Tell us, in case you are in these two constituencies, what you're looking out for. Who is the best person for the job as your member of parliament? We'll go for a short break. When we return after the break, we'll begin deliberations and we'll start off with the Achim Odan constituency. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, so welcome back from that short break, and thank you very much for staying. If you just joined us, this is Upfront on JoyNews channel. I am Winston Amwa, and we're still continuing the build-up to the NPP's parliamentary primaries. Our focus tonight is on the Achim Odan constituency and also on the Navrongo Central constituency. Interestingly, when it goes to Navrongo Central, you have two ministers contesting, Minister of Aviation and the Upper East Regional Minister. Seems to be, sounds like it's going to be a very interesting contest. But let's get to the Achim Odan constituency, and we're privileged to be joined by one of the aspirants in that particular race. Is the CEO of the community hospitals. He's been a journalist. Well, they say you should always say someone is a journalist and not one who was a journalist. Has been a public relations person and now wants to represent the people of Achim Odan in Parliament. My guest is Alexander Akwesi Akwa. Thank you very much for joining us, Alexander Akwesi Akwa. Hope you're doing very well and the campaign is going on well. Okay, so I think that we'd have to get back to, Alexander Akwesi Akwa shortly. I'm sure that his, microphone is muted on Zoom, making it impossible for us to hear him. You know what technology can do sometimes. So we'll get back to him shortly. And yes, let's get back to him now. Yes, so yes, Mr. Akwesi Akwa, let's get back to you. So I hope the campaign is going on well.
Yes, we are okay. Good evening to your cherished viewers. We're doing so well. 2 days more to go. And so campaign, we are just wrapping up and tidying out all the naughty issues.
So, I mean, you are an entrepreneur, one who's been in the media. You decided to go into the health sector, doing it with the community hospitals. Why do you want to go to Parliament?
Well, I've decided to be in Parliament because my people called on me, and I see it as a duty to serve my people. I could be serving my people in other capacities, but I think that we haven't been well represented. And so it is time for some of us to get off the fence and be part of the decision-making of the constituency so that the teeming youth who are crying for a very gallant leader would also be satisfied.
We keep hearing this statement of my people called on me, my people called on me. And people go into elections and eventually lose. I mean, when you say your people call you, how did they call you? I mean, what sort of assessment did you do to actually know that, oh, these people are calling on me to come and contest?
Well, I'm sure when you are within a constituency and you are contributing so much to the development of the constituency, they think that perhaps if they give you the nod, if they give you the mandate to represent them well, when you can actually have state resources to help them develop then it becomes easier for them to call on you. I mean, if you're a party member and then you are helping from behind the scenes, they would now call on you to be at the forefront and lead them because they think that you can manage the constituency so well.
Again, talking about, if you have state resources, what state resources are you talking about, Alexander Kwesi-Arquah? A member of parliament, you have some few, thousands of cities.
But I'm going to these elections. I'm going to these elections with 5 main points, 5 main visions, and what it means is that whatever I have contributed so far in the constituency, if I'm able, if they give me the nod as they have promised, it becomes easier for me to be able to fulfill these 5 main promises. The first one is to ensure that the common fund, which is an allocation to every MP, is evenly disbursed into the 18 electoral areas for minor developmental agenda. We haven't seen that in some time now, and we feel that no matter how small the common fund will be, the people in the various electoral areas would appreciate it if it comes directly to them from the MP to help them develop their area. We're supposed to benefit from one district, one factory. We have not been able to have it done as of yet. It's 4 years. And so as an entrepreneur, I have promised them that by the end of my first term, that is the first 4 years, we should have a working factory. There should be a working factory operating in Achim Oda. As an entrepreneur, I have also promised them that, I'm going to set aside half of my salary to set up a constituency development fund, so that it could serve as a sort of a welfare fund for the people in the constituency. I've also promised them to facilitate the acquisition of 30 taxis for a work and pay principle. So the team in youth who are drivers but do not have the ability and the opportunity to acquire their own vehicle can actually have cars and then own the cars after they have paid them. These are the things that I have promised them. These are the things that they think I can achieve, and that is why they called on me, like I earlier said.
So let's look at the promises that you are making, and let's start off with the acquisition of 30 taxis. Now, these taxis, are you giving to persons randomly or giving to electoral areas?
Well, from the beginning, I'm going to give it to the electoral areas. I mean, we have 18 electoral areas. And so if we say we are given 30 taxis, then it means that the 18 electoral areas are going to own 1 each. And then the remaining 12 will be given to perhaps committed young men who really want to work and then get it off paid within a matter of a year and a half, like other constituencies have also done. And so it becomes an investment in the youth.
Why now? Why are you deciding to do this now and not earlier?
Well, earlier I was able to guarantee a loan of about 300,000 for some traders. I mean, about 300 of them. Each person went for 1,000 cedis. And so I've been doing this on my own. And we think that we can extend it when you are in the position that you can have access to state resources. I mean, once you represent them, it becomes easier for state resources to be committed to you. And the judicious use of it is what would ensure that development gets to the people. And then they also see that perhaps they have a leader that they can rely on. I have been doing this.
We'll get to the state resources bit, but are you aware that what you're doing amounts to vote buying? You're giving taxis in a build-up to election, clearly to influence delegates in your favor.
We haven't done that. I have told them that when they have given me their nod, then I should be able to do this. I think that you don't get into elections, you don't get into politics because you think that you are supposed to occupy the position. No. All you need to do is to give them hope. I mean, let them know that when they have given you their nod, this is how you are going to serve them. And so I have not given anybody any taxi now before they vote for me. But what I have done for them in the past, who I am, it becomes easier for them to trust me with my words, and then they trust me with their votes.
How much are you budgeting for these taxis?
Well, the taxis are running for 25 to 30,000 per taxi. And because this is not a business that you want to do, all I have to do is to facilitate your temporary guarantee. And so this is not going to be a kind of business that you want to make profit out of it. It is purely something you are doing for your people. And so we are budgeting close to about 30,000 per taxi.
30,000 per taxi.
It becomes easier if you even import it directly from outside, without necessarily buying it from the open market.
You're looking at buying second-hand vehicles for them?
Obviously, for a start.
And these second-hand vehicles that you're buying for them, are you paying with your money and then they refund it, or you're guaranteeing a facility for them?
I'm guaranteeing a facility for them, like I did earlier, as I talked to you about.
So in effect, they would have to pay, and failure to pay, they'll be dealing with the institution that granted them the facility.
Obviously, but as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, it becomes easier for me to help them pay, because all you need to let them know is that this is business. Nobody thrives in business when you want to squander your capital or your initial capital. And so we have to also get them to know that in business, this is what you do. I mean, you go for credit, you make sure you pay your credit, and it enables you to move on with the business, and other people also come to benefit from it.
Well, you've been talking about the things that you've been doing for your people, and in preparation for this, one of the things I realized that, so last year you donated a pickup to the constituency. It looks like in the last year or two, you've been very visible. Clearly, these are all parts of a grand scheme to, win your party's bid. But for your decision to contest, would you have done this? What is it that you've done that suggests that this is just not a decision, this is just not an attempt to influence delegates?
Well, I think that these are the things that the party folks, the foot soldiers, saw in me and decided to call on me. I've been a politician, I've been a party person, and so when it gets to a point that you think that you have enough to be able to support your party, I think that there's no law about it. It becomes easier for you to support your party. And so in supporting the party, the people who own the party and the constituency now begins to see you as a formidable leader, as somebody who can carry the party. You can lead the party. And so it's because of these things that they actually called on me. Otherwise, we were only doing this to support the party. I'm an entrepreneur. I wanted to concentrate on my business. I have other things. I have other plans. Getting into politics has actually cost me in a way. I mean, it's a major sacrifice. But you need very, very trustworthy leaders to be able to get into politics, so that at least you can maximize your gains on the political front.
If going into politics has cost you, why would you want to go into a venture? You're an entrepreneur. Why would you want to go into a venture that could possibly ruin you, business-wise?
Well, it gets to a time in one's life that you have to sacrifice. It's not all about yourself. I have always said that as a journalist, as a media person, if a policy of a government, of a new patriotic party, could make me one of the leading entrepreneurs in health, the health sector, the health industry, I think that it's time to also give back to the country through my party, because I mean, if the ex-president J. Kufuor had not introduced health insurance, then I got the opportunity to work in there, I wouldn't have known that health is business. And as a journalist, you could go into health and own multiple of hospitals and then employ so many people. And so I think that it gets to a time that you have to halt your personal, achievements and give back to society. And I think one of the best ways I can do that is through politics.
You talk about acquiring 30 taxis for the 18 electoral areas.
It's one of the 5.
I know. Yes, I'm going to go to all the strategies or the vision that you have. We'll deal with all of them. You talk about acquiring 30 taxis for your party, the 18 electoral areas, and committed party members. You're seeking to be Member of Parliament for Achim Dan constituency. How about the generality of your constituency?
I have promised to also make sure that there is a working factory at the end of the day, at the end of my 4-year term. If the factory comes into action, if the factory is working, it's not going to employ only my party people. We're going to have every other person living in Achim Oda, especially the youth, working there. We have actually started working with a rice mill, where we want to get one of the most sophisticated rice mills, which would also mean that we would set up a very good outgrower system that would encourage rice production. And if it happens like that, it's not going to be just the red, white, blue color bearing members who will be gainfully employed, but you will definitely have others who are already doing rice production, but are not making it so much to also get into it.
We'll get to the factory bit, but in effect, when it comes to the taxis, you're giving it to your party members. Isn't that discriminatory?
Well, the taxis are supposed to be a grant scheme to make sure that you galvanize the electoral area, which is the base of our party, to get them something to run, to get them to be very active, and to let them have something to depend on. They don't always have to be coming to you, the MP, and be begging you. And so, as an entrepreneur, you want to teach them how to fish rather than giving them fish always.
So, in effect, is party first, your party first?
It's a party that's going to make me a member of parliament.
So it is your party first?
If I don't get a nod from my party, I can never be a member of parliament, my brother.
So it will be your party first?
Well, I think that once I have other plans and policies for the whole of Achim Oda, there's nothing wrong in considering my party. If I have a 5-point vision and one goes directly to my party folks, I think that I have done well.
Okay, we'll come back to serving the generality of your constituency if you're giving the nod. But you talk about one district, one factory. You talk about wanting to do a few things. Your party in opposition campaign on a one district, one factory. Your party has been in government for about 40 months, 6 months to the end of the party's tenure. And the one district, one factory, that was a major campaign promise. There are lots of districts which still do not have factories. What is the proof that you're going to be able to achieve this?
Well, I can only talk about the Achim Oda municipality, which is in the Achim Oda constituency. That is a major campaign promise we made, and then we have some districts benefiting. I mean, that is one of my inspirations. Once you have some districts owning or having factories operating within, it becomes easier that you can easily facilitate it. Government made that promise, and it's not going to be a government-driven agenda. It's a private sector agenda. It's a private sector-driven agenda. And so what it takes is to have a private sector person, a private person, to facilitate the setting up of some of these industries and factories. And that is why I'm asking the people of Achim Oda to give me the nod, because in the past, for every 2 years, I could set up a hospital. And so I told them that if in 4 years I have promised to give them a factory, they should believe me.
But talking about it being a private sector-led policy, your party also in 2017, in March 2017, when the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta presented a budget in Parliament, he actually talked about the allocation of 2 million Ghana cedis to all districts in the country to serve as equity funding for the one district, one factory. Clearly, that's an indication that the state had a role to play, isn't it, Mr. Akwesi-Akwah?
Obviously, it's a national agenda, it's a state agenda, it's a government agenda. And so if the government decides to cushion investors, people who are interested in going into this with an amount of money, it becomes easier to facilitate it. Many businessmen might want to get into it, but the availability of funds may be a difficulty. And so we have to clap for the government. We have to give the government a thumbs up for making such allocation. But what it requires now, it's a businessman who has confidence and have the belief and the people and gets in there to move. I mean, I went into Achimda and I realized that a lot of the people are doing rice farming, but because there is no very good rice mill, they are not encouraged. And so my team and I went around, we did a survey, and we realized that if we're able to set up a very sophisticated rice mill that can accommodate all the production that the area can give us, it becomes easier to encourage the youth to get into rice farming.
But just by way of clarification, so yes, that allocation was made, but it was never disbursed. Just by way of clarification, so we can't clap for your party because the disbursement wasn't made. So is it a case
once the allocation has been made, I think that it takes seasoned business people to get in there, and then you can have it. You can have your share.
That was in 2017. We're in 2020. Clearly, it has not been done. But let's move on. So you talk about setting up that factory. Do I get the impression it's a rice processing factory that you want to set up, since you're talking about a lot of rice growers?
Yes, it's a rice processing factory. It's a rice processing. We actually got somebody from the Ministry of Agri. There's a foundation that came to visit the constituency. I brought them down to check up on the capacity. And it was obvious that if we're able to set up, then it becomes easier for a lot of the youth to be encouraged into it.
Well, talking about Ministry of Agri, so you're the current member of Parliament, used to be Deputy Food and Agriculture Minister. You say the people say he's not doing well, hence your decision to contest. Is it the people saying, or you personally also believe that he's not doing well, and thus you should be giving the nod?
Well, whether he's doing well or not, I mean, it is a practice of our party that for every 4 years, the nominations are open for people who are interested to compete. And you know what competition brings. You know, as of now, if you come into the Achim Odan constituency, the name they have given me is the game changer. The game changer because I have come to galvanize the party. I have come to put some action in the party, and the people are happy. I mean, we need people to be happy to serve the party. And so it's not about what he's doing right or what he's doing wrong, but it's an opportunity that is open to all of us, committed party people. And so at the end of the day, the best team wins, and then it gets to represent the people of Achimoda.
But you just started by telling me that, okay, so when the people contacted you and wanted you to come and contest, it was also because they felt that, you know, you believe that a lot of things were not going on well. And so clearly, isn't that an admission yourself that, you know, one or two things that a member of Parliament is doing is not the best? You think that he's not served the people well, and hence your decision to contest him?
Remember that if he has done it all, there wouldn't be the need for me to come in to compete him. And these 5 visions that I have actually put out hasn't been contested. I mean, from his team, they just challenged my ability to have them fulfilled and all that. What it means is that if I'm able to push this 5 vision into power, into Parliament, what it means is that if he had been able to do any of these 5, I'm sure that people would have maintained him. So as I spot out these visions to the people, and they felt that I could represent them well because they know I have confidence in me, what it means is that there was something that was lacking in the incumbent member of Parliament.
Great. So just stay on that note. We'll go for a short break. When we return after the break, we'll continue with the, you know, other plans that you have for the Achimoda constituency. My guest, Alexander Akwesi-Yakwa, he's seeking to become the NPP's parliamentary candidate for the Achimoda constituency. This is UPfront on JoyNews. My name is Winston Amor. We'll be right back after this break. All right, so welcome back from that short break, and thank you very much for staying with us. This is UPfront on JoyNews channel. My name is Winston Amor, and we're still continuing our interactions with aspiring parliamentary candidates of the governing NPP. And today we're speaking to Alexander Kwesiakwa, who's seeking to become the NPP's parliamentary candidate for the Achimota constituency. So we've been talking about your vision that you have. You've also talked about how, your main contender, that's the member of parliament, they're actually challenging your ability to do these things. So for you, you believe that is an indication that it's something they cannot do. But you talk about, your common fund. The fact that you would want to disburse your common fund evenly, for minor development. How do you want to achieve that? This is not so much money. I mean, even the common fund doesn't get to do a lot. So how are you going to divide that, and how are you going to spread that, and what can that do?
I think that for now, the government has a lot of programs that is actually taking development to the grassroots. You have the $1 million one constituency and all that. So we're talking about local, the local level development. The government is doing so well. And so if you're a member of parliament and you think that you want to account to the people so well, and at the end of the day, you want them to have a feel of what your common fund is doing for them, then it becomes easier for you to have an agreement with them where they could submit their action plan to you every quarter. And for all you know, some of these things that they need your support for, they don't go beyond 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. So spearheaded by the assemblyman or the assembly representative who is the duly elected person for that electoral area, then they could use such funds to sometimes fixing of street light bulbs and construction of some culverts, to help passerbys to cross some large gutters here and there. These are development efforts that are lacking in the various electoral areas. And so if you have your common fund and you decide to concentrate on one electoral area, at the end of the day, they don't see the other 17, do not see any promise. And so my team sat with me, and I think that it's one of the ideas that is getting a lot of the delegates to love us.
So your party in opposition during the debate on the passage of the Petroleum Revenue Management Bill made a point in calling for a national development plan. One of the arguments they made was that, look, if petroleum revenue is thinly distributed, the country would not know the benefit of petroleum revenue. And so why don't you look at major projects, concentrate on it, then we can see the impact of it. Why would you want to thinly spread this when you can actually concentrate on one thing, do it, and then people can benefit rather than spreading it, which in the end would lead to uncompleted projects?
Well, like I earlier explained, we have the government leading in the developmental efforts in the various MMDAs, the Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Assemblies. I have just told you about the $1 million one constituency, which is a policy from our government and is working so well. So what it means is that such a chunk of resource is being sent into the constituency. What it means is that monies that in the past could come from common fund for you to get into such development efforts are now being taken care of by this $1 million one constituency. And so if you have your common fund, if you're not careful, you will not take it into productive use. And so for me, we are not looking at any major projects, but there are some minor projects that the various assemblymen complain about. I mean, some will tell you for 6 months, 7 months, they have been going to the various municipalities to check on how they could have resources to fix common bulbs in their electoral areas. And so I think that if I give them this opportunity, then they know that for every quarter, they can plan certain development in their specific electoral areas. And the people would appreciate that effort.
But of course, there's also the challenge of the disbursement of these funds, because in many of the instances they're in arrears. So you're actually relying on a tool which in many instances is in arrears. I think that would have to wait and see whether the internet would be favorable to us again. Alexander Akwesiakwa's internet coverage, or maybe giving us a little bit of problems. He's aspiring to become the NPP's parliamentary candidate for the Achimota constituency, and he's been sharing with us the plans that he has for his constituents. He wants to build a factory. He wants to help acquire 30 taxis for the 18 electoral areas, as well as the remaining 12 going to some committed members of his party. He wants to share his common fund, that's the MP's share of the common fund among the electoral areas within his constituency, and then also donate his money to the constituency for the establishment of a development fund. We're still trying to get connectivity, so we go back to him and have a conversation. We will continue with particularly his plan of establishing the development fund, but that will be all after this break. All right, so welcome back from that short break, and we're glad to say that we've restored connectivity, so we can go back to Alexander Akwesiakwa. So you were telling us about, distributing your common fund amongst all the electoral areas. You believe that little things that, they can do on their own if you share these monies amongst them are not done. Tell us more about that.
Well, because I have been a government appointee before, I was once a government appointee in the Brim South District Assembly. I know how assemblymen suffer to always have certain developmental efforts performed. They have no source of income. There's no resource allocated to them. They always have to depend on the district assembly or the municipal assembly before they can have some little funds to spearhead some developmental effort. And so for me, I picked this idea from the assemblymen, and I told them I would not keep the common fund for myself. And even though you still have to account for it, it becomes easier if it is dispersed among the electoral areas, because then you can see exactly what is being done with that fund. And then you can easily account for it.
Now, who is going to be doing the accounting? You're disbursing this to the assembly members. Who? What accounting, accountability measures have you put in place?
Well, every assembly has a works engineer, and so every activity that these resources will be going into will be supervised by the assembly. And so it's about they bringing me their action plan, quarterly action plan, and then you sanction it, and then you approve of it, and then you get the resources disbursed to them under the direction of the assembly officials.
What if the project they are requesting for, the assistance they are requesting for, is more than the allocation to them that particular quarter?
Then obviously you have to help them lobby the district assembly to take it up by themselves. But this should be within the range of the amount of money that I release every quarter as MP's common fund, which the current assemblymen are so upbeat about it. They're so happy because then they can rely on it every quarter, that at least whatever promises they have made to your people, it becomes easier for them to also have it fulfilled.
There are those who have said that, based on the amount involved, the, MP's share of the common fund should be scrapped. You agree?
In fact, my current MP, the incumbent MP, was the one who actually started that argument, and he knows the backlash he had from his colleague members of parliament. I mean, if you check the news archives, it's there. He was actually chastised by his own colleague MPs, because for an MP, you are not just a lawmaker, but you are a developmental agent. People look up to you for you to help them to so that one or two issues, issues that they think that as their leader, you should be able to help them to sort out. And so the MPs Common Fund, it's something that MPs, it's so close to the heart of MPs, and I think that if you do not know the use of it, you would call for a cancellation of it. But for some of us, we have plans for it.
And those are your plans. You intend to set up, a development fund using half of your salary?
Yes. Yes. I feel if the people are sponsoring me to Parliament, and I feel it's a call to serve, not to necessarily make money out of the service, because you already engaged. It becomes easier for you to allocate half of your salary. I mean, the president has shown the way. When COVID came, the president had to release part of his salary to set up the COVID fund, and then others also followed suit. And so I think that has been an exemplary action. And for me, for the next 4 years, I have promised my people half of my salary will go into the Constituency Development Fund, CDF.
When you say, well, because I am engaged, you think that that's a way to serve. Is it your view that before you go to Parliament, you should have something doing so that it is not an avenue for money making, but an avenue to serve?
That is what I believe in. I think that before you get into politics, you should be able to build yourself up to an extent that you do not go and depend on state resources or any of the resources that are available for you to serve your people with. And so if you've actually built yourself, it becomes easier for you to really account to the people whatever comes your way.
And so for those who have not built themselves, you advise they shouldn't try going to Parliament?
No, because the pressure that's going to be on you could make you. I mean, you have members of Parliament who are using Common Fund for funeral donations and others. I hear it is allowed, but I think that I would not want to do that. I would not want to do that. If government resources that are meant for development, and you cannot, if you're not a member of Parliament, you would definitely go out to give funeral donations and church donations, offerings. If you're not, but you're part of the society, you would definitely go out there. So why would you use such funds for such activities? And so for me, I think one of the best and judicious way to expend some of these resources is to let the people feel. And you can only do that when you are engaged. You've built yourself up in life, and so you would not want to depend on some of these resources, available resources for yourself.
There's also that fear, and in speaking to members of Parliament, one of the things they've said, for instance, is that, okay, so since I became a member of Parliament, I just realized that I've lost all my business contacts, and all the numbers I have on my phone now are, delegates and constituents. Don't you fear the fact that as an entrepreneur going into this venture with all of these promises, you could be dragging your companies into funding some of these things, and if care is not taken, it affects the company's sustainability going forward?
My brother, I wish that one day you try this game. It's so interesting, especially if you're a human-centered person, somebody who loves to help people, if you're somebody who loves to see people develop. It's so interesting. Yes, if you're losing, I ever heard my MP, my current MP, saying that he's worse off being a member of Parliament. And so people are wondering why he's giving me a run for my money. I mean, for this. People thought that at least he was going to just leave the seat for me, but we are on. But what I believe in is that if you are ready to serve, you do not think about what you make for yourself. It is about the people. And for a safe seat like Achim Oda, the delegates and the people who carry the party and take care of the party in your absence are very important. And so if there are those who are taking care of the party behind you, whilst you are in Parliament making laws and making sure that you facilitate development, you lobby for projects for them, it is okay. that you also serve them in a particular way so they can continuously take care of the party for you in your absence.
So just on that note, if the people who are taking care of the party, to talk, yes, I know you're going into a primary, so you talk about your party a lot, but once you become a member of parliament, it's no longer your party, Alexander Kwesi-Arquah. It is the constituency. Why is the focus so much on the party, the party, the party?
Well, this is the moment for the party. You need the party to take you and to give you their nod before you can have the opportunity to serve the general public. And so it shouldn't just be the party. I mean, before I became very active in politics, I led in the setting up of a Kotokuman Educational Trust Fund, a trust fund that is currently taking care of about 13 people in tertiary institutions. And it's all because I contributed money. I got the member of parliament to even contribute. The Honorable Senior Minister, Honorable Osapo Sapomafo, also contributed. Some very seasoned personalities, the Director of Operations of Office of the Vice President, who also comes from the constituency, even contributed. And all of us put our seed money into it. And we have people in the tertiary schools that is being sponsored by this Education Trust Fund. I did that when I didn't even have a political intention. Otherwise, I wouldn't get my main competitor, that is the MP, contributing. And so I have the hearts of the people. I have a heart to serve the people. And there are a lot of other things I have done, not for the party, but for the constituency at large. I mean, people in the constituency. And so if they have come to invite me, if they came to call on me to serve them in the capacity of a member of parliament, then it means that they can trust you if you are in charge of the state resources.
Great. And so all things being equal on Saturday, how many votes are you looking at, polling at the end of it all?
Currently, we have about 385 delegates, and I've been conveniently working with about 350 of them. That's you want to do your pluses and minuses.
And if you don't win?
Life goes on. I have come in to serve. This is not the end of my life. The people love me. The people came to call on me to serve them. The same delegates are the same people who are going to vote. And so, and that is why it's a hot battle in Achimota, because I mean, the delegates who are going to vote are the same people who came to call on me to come and serve them in that larger capacity.
Alexander Kwesi-Arquah, thank you very much. And well, Saturday is around the corner. We'll be monitoring events in your constituency, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Great. So that'll be all from us this evening on Upfront. I am Winston. I'm on behalf of the team. We're glad that you joined us. Do have a lovely evening. Up next is JoyNews Prime. We're out.